Hello, and welcome to the Dokkan battle video. In this video, we're going to be finishing up the EZA for STR Super BUU. Now, I'm a little bit late on this just because I had work in the morning and I wasn't able to like stay up and do this just regularly. But this is the setup I'm using. This category, or like EZA, is weak to Patara, which is not a team that gets buffed very often. I'm pretty sure the most recent unit that we're even using is what, EZA Blue, Vegito Blue, which like even then he struggles is what I should say, I guess, because he, like, the thing about him, right, is while he is like runnable in a lot of events, he just stacks so slow. Like, he is pure RNG. Like, if you get like 4 supers every single turn, then yeah, he's crazy. But if like you're not able to do that, he's just kind of lackluster, and he really just isn't able to do a whole lot. Like, because while I would like to use him more, like, one, he has like no real good partners except for like AGL Blue Gogeta, but he's not even really a slot 1 character until he's blue, which is the only time where they even end up linking up really well together. And even if you wanted to run that team together, they don't really share a 200%, I'm pretty sure. I think they might be on the 200% from Ultimate Gohan, and like, but like, even then, I don't think so. No, they're not. Yes, I don't even think they really have like a proper 200% to run them on together. Where did my... Oh, sorry, I lost my mouse for a second there. But yeah, like, they don't really have like a proper rotation to really run together and even showcase how good they can be. So he's not even really a character that I even consider bringing, because in the most cases he just doesn't link up well with the majority of teams, and that's mainly because he is from a different era of Dokkan, I would say, where we had 3 major key links, and nowadays we only really have 2. Back then, when he was popular and really strong, there was 3 major key links: Prepare for Battle, Shocking Speed, and Over in a Flash. For some reason, we completely moved away from Over in a Flash. Over in a Flash is like a completely dead link. Almost no recent characters have even gotten that link. It's really weird. Like, this was like a link that they put on nearly every single character that they've just stopped doing completely, and it's really awkward. So that just kind of makes this STR VB, or this EZA VB, in a really weird spot. Anyway, this is not about him. This is more about the boy here. And Super BUU is a very interesting character, right? Is what I would say. Because I think they actually did a good job designing Buhan as well as Buikalo, but then for some reason they made the first, like, no, you're in STR Super BUU for 5 turns, and they didn't really make him very good. Like, he's just like runnable, he's like okay, but the main problem with like Super BUU cards is they don't have big bad bosses for some reason. Specifically this one, I don't know why he does not have big bad bosses until after he goes into Buhan, but like, that's the only time where he can have big bad bosses. All 3 of the other forms of this Super BUU don't have that at all, which is really annoying, because that's a link that you really would want to have active because it gives a lot of stats. So like, this like base form STR Super BUU is like kind of meh, but then the second he goes either Buhan or Buikalo, he becomes crazy good. But like, that's like the problem, where it's either you transform on turn 5 and become Buhan and you're crazy, or you transform into Buikalo and you're crazy. But if you're unlucky enough to transform into Butanks, you lost. I think you lose the game. I think at that point your run is dead. And that's a very what I'm going to assume is going to be a very common transformation, because that is in between, I believe, the 79 to 50% range is what it is. It's like either 79 to like 50 or something like that, or 79 to 60, where it's a very common range to be sat in typically for these kind of characters. And if you do end up getting Butanks, I would say your run is completely over. That guy is probably fodder. Like, his defense is negligible. He can do some okay damage, but like, that's all he does. He does damage and he can like lower stats. But where are you lowering stats in turn 5? Like, that's just not happening often. So I really don't see the point of getting Butanks unless we get a long event where we're able to lower stats and stuff like that, and stun and seal and all that kind of debuff garbage, which again, that's something that they've also moved away from. So I don't really understand the point of the Butanks transformation. Luckily, though, we don't have to worry about that because I feel like commonly with a lot of these Buu characters, you're healing a lot. So usually you should transform into Buhan, who again is probably one of the better characters like in the game. I have seen a lot of gameplay for him. He seems to be hovering in that like STR, Cooler, AGL, Blue Gogeta range where they're like absolutely ridiculous. And then same with Buiklo. Buiklo is nasty. Like he supports, he has guard, he has, I believe he has damage reduction as well as also, actually no, I think it's Buhan that guards, and then Buiklo has the damage reduction, and then he also has that massively raised defense on his super attack. So getting additionals with both Buhan and Buiklo is crazy good. So I personally think that you're going to want to build this guy full additional to maximize the power that you have from Buhan and Buiklo, and I feel like you're going to be perfectly fine with this guy because I just don't see the value in any of the other form, or like in like this form, or in what is it, the Butank's form. I don't think those are the things that you're gonna be wanting to invest your stats into, like, because if you're like, oh, I'll go crit that way Butanks can do crazy damage, then you're on some crack and you need to fix that. You should really be prioritizing the defense that Buiklo and Buhan can output, because if you go additional, Buiklo and Buhan, well, Buiklo can super attack twice, which would both give him 100% defense for the turn, and Buhan, he could get that 3-turn 50% defensive buff 3 times if you get that hidden potential additional, which is absolutely insane once it starts building up. Plus the fact that he can have guard, that is a ridiculous amount of stats that you're able to get with this, with specifically Buhan. It becomes kind of gross to the point where I feel like he's gonna be living most things in the game with relative ease. So that's one thing I do really, really like about this guy. But other than that, I feel like they could have, I don't know, maybe buffed up his base form a little bit more. That way, for those first 5 turns, we're not in such a terrible spot. Like, for a fight like Red Zone Cell Max, he's going to be awful in, because that phase starts off with AGL. So unless you get him in, like, turn 3, or, like, slot 7 or something, he's probably not going to be very helpful. But in like longer fights where you actually are able to get into Buhan or Buiklo, he's going to absolutely dominate and look really, really good. But again, he's another one of these characters that wants to be in a longer event. So it really gets me thinking that we are going to be seeing longer, hard content coming very, very quickly. And I am all for that. I think like if we get more difficult content that is going to be taking us longer and longer and longer to complete, we're going to be seeing a rise of different kinds of characters in the game. And I always like diversity in terms of the characters that we're like are popular and we're bringing. Those are the types of like metas that I'm really like fond of, because it allows me to use a bunch of different teams that I don't usually use very often, a bunch of different characters, and really see their max potential. And we have a lot of characters that have been releasing that want to be in longer fights, and we just don't have that content yet. So I am going to assume that in one of maybe the new Shadow Dragon like hard events that we're going to be seeing a much longer fight, or maybe even something like the Spirit Bomb event Kid Buu, where instead of it being just kind of like a damage test boss, it's like a real boss that is constantly keeping himself up for multiple phases, where you're in that phase for so long and you're just trying to build up faster, where like maybe like every time you defeat the boss they just come back even stronger. I feel like if we got like a Kid Buu gimmick like that, where it's literally like copy paste from the Spirit Bomb event but make him hit way harder, I feel like that would be a really interesting challenge, where someone like this STR Super Buu could be really helpful. The 8 years would be absolutely ridiculous in an event like that. Vegeta and Trunks would be really good in there. You would be able to use like Orange Piccolo to his full potential, merge Zamasu, all these like really long characters that would be insane in those kind of events. I feel like that's something that we could definitely see, and that's something that I want to experience. I feel like it'd be really fun. So like that's just kind of it. I'm going to show the Potara category, by the way, just so that you guys like can just see some of your options for this. And it's not very good. It's definitely not good at all. I think by far like these are probably some of the better choices that you could bring. There's not a whole lot of AGL Potara, like, so let's take a look at this, right? Because I'm now done with the event. I just want to show these options here. Let's see. And Potara is this one. Like this isn't good because he gets damage reduction against most typings, I'm pretty sure, mainly extreme types. So you want to be using super class AGL, and it's literally just 1, 2, 3 characters. That's it. Like, and this guy's a world tournament character. I was able to bust him out for this. Like, it's kind of interesting to be able to use him again. Like, he's like a cool little character. He's like dodge and first slot and nothing else. But like, this is very limited. Like, they need to give Potara some help. We need to see a rise of Vegito come back. Like, I want this guy to EZA. I want to see Vegito come back kicking. We need a new Dokkan Fest Super Saiyan Vegito. We need the EZA for STR Vegito. We need a lot of stuff to make this guy even better, and I feel like we're going to get it very soon. Anyway, let me know what you guys feel about STR Super BUU in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys all in the next video.